Oh, you. Yeah, you. Look at these Mopro disc pads from only £3.40 at Halfords.
Comma stop rush, there's only £1.75.
And this liquid diamond paste is only £2.75.
You want the chappie next door.
I got these 4 Champion spark plugs for just £1.99.
Blimey, at those prices, I know where I'm going.
Cut car cost at Halfords.
Hi, I'm Mike, and I'm very much child of the 80s. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the old Halfords unit, which is located on 121 to 123 Linthorpe Road. Now, researching this, getting dates and things, has been really difficult. It's unbelievable how hard I've had to look and try to find information about this building, so I've done my best. As you can see from this image, this was in the 60s, and Halfords are already there. And the buildings look very Victorian. You can see the building looks very similar to that next door. And I believe they traded like this until around the 70s. And the reason I think that is because if you look on the land registry, in 76, that's the first time we see the building registered. Now, I think, and I spoke to a few other people as well that probably think the same thing, that the building was modified in 76. And that's why we see it registered on that date. So the way that the building is now, if you look at it, it's very, very different how it used to be. It's a much more 70s modern design kind of thing. And we think that's when it was done in 76. I was speaking to the current landlord, who was very helpful. He seemed to recall on one of the previous tenancy agreements that boots were in the unit. So I thought that must have been in the 60s before Halfords took it. So a little bit of digging online. And it turned out that actually Boots owned Halfords from 1989 to 2002. So that's probably why he recalls them being on a tenancy agreement, because it might have been leased by like Boots PLC on behalf of Halfords, that kind of thing. Now, going back to that land registry, the next date we see is 1993, and I'm informed by the current landlord that that was when he purchased the building. Now, when the current landlord purchased the building in 93, Halfords was still a tenant, and they remained so until the late 90s. Now, I did try and speak to Halfords about getting a date of when they left the building, but unfortunately their records only go back to 2000. They don't keep anything pre-2000, but they were still really helpful and they tried their best to help me out. Unfortunately, they didn't have access to those dates. But speaking to the landlord, he seems to recall them vacating the property in the late 90s. And the reason he recalls that is because they transferred their remainder of the lease on the property across to Caversham Finance. Now, who's Caversham Finance, you may ask? Well, Caversham Finance is actually the company behind Brighthouse, and Brighthouse took over the unit from Halfords. Now, a few people may recall Brighthouse. They were a chain of stores that sold what I would class as domestic goods, TVs, microwaves, washers, all that sort of thing, at ridiculously inflated prices on the Never Never, basically. I never dealt with them. Thankfully, I never needed to. But you may recall that some of them were quite expensive, and when you looked at the rates of interest and things like that, they were really, really poor agreements, to be honest. And that all came to light in 2017 when they were forced to pay £14.8 million in compensation for poor practices and unaffordable credit agreements. That obviously affected them quite hard. It's a lot of money to lose. But they did continue trading until 2020. I think the pandemic sort of finished them off and the associated lockdowns, etc. And they called in the receivers in 2020. I was speaking to the landlord. The unit didn't remain empty for long, and it's since been occupied by Middlesbrough discount store. Now, this video is going to be quite a personal video, I will warn you, because when I was a kid, I used to go into Halfords all the time. I've had things from there that my parents bought me, skateboards, scooters, bikes, all that sort of thing. And when Halfords closed and it was empty, it was Brighthouse, I always wanted to go upstairs. Whenever I went into Halfords, I always just went upstairs. I was never interested in what was downstairs. It was cars and things that I didn't care. I just used to go upstairs. And I did nip in when it was Brighthouse. I noticed they'd put a wall up so that you couldn't go in. It had like a doorway on the staircase. So that was that. I couldn't get up there. So when Middlesbrough Discount Store opened, I thought, I've got to nip in and see what I can see. And lo and behold, the door has been removed and you can get upstairs again. Now, not only can you get upstairs, they're trading from there. It's an actual retail space again. It's fantastic to see. It's been closed for all these years and now it's open. Now, I went in to see the manager in there and the group of lads that work there, and it was fantastic. They were really, really helpful. I told the guys about what I was doing with the videos and things and some of the history I had with the store, and they couldn't have been nicer. The shop's fantastic. It's one of those shops that sells everything that you didn't know you needed until you see it. And anybody that holidays in Lincolnshire has been to a place called Inglemells will know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a place there, a shop called Yabba's. And again, it's one of those shops that just sells everything. You go and you think, I didn't even know they still made those, and you buy yourself something. And that's exactly what this shop's for. And it's great. It's come at such a great time because we lost B&M from the Dundas Arcade. We lost Wilkinson's from Captain Cook Square. We lost that sort of drop in and get those homely bits and bobs that you need, DIY type things. So this shop has come at a great time and it's in a great location. So really do check it out. The guys there are fantastic and they're really, really helpful. If you haven't got it, they're going to get it for you. Anyway, as I say, these guys are really friendly, and the manager there invited me to come over one Sunday morning and take a look around. He said, you can have a look at what's still there. He told me a little bit about the shop and what he's done to it and what their future prospects are. And they've got a pretty decent lease on the building. So long may this store continue. As I say, it's great to see the shop open again. So he invited us to come along one Sunday morning, early doors as they were opening up, and have a look around. So that's exactly what we did. So here we are at the Middlesbrough Discount Store, and today I'm being joined by my good friend James.
All right.
I'm going to have a take a look around inside and see what we can see. So as I've already said, this store used to be Halfords, or it certainly was when I was a kid. And it also became Brighthouse after that. But I think it's nice that we've got a store like this now, because since Boys and like B&M have gone, this is one of those shops where it sells everything you never knew you needed until you see it. I think that's really important. So if you haven't already visited the store, make sure that you do. We're going to have a look and see what else we can see. And the shop's pretty much packed out, as you can tell. And they're really using the space. And check out those really cool lights.
Let's sit them.
Yeah, nice, Anne. But what I did when I've had a quick look around, there's not a lot left of this store. When it was Halfords, it used to be downstairs with all your automotive stuff, all your cars and things. Now your bikes and things were upstairs, pretty much as Halfords is now. So down here, there's not a lot left, but I did spot this up here. Which is the floor. So I spoke to the guy who runs the place and he said there was originally like a studded wall here, which had been put in by Brighthouse by the look of it. But that's the original floor from when it was Halfords. And if you ever visited the store, you'll probably realise and remember. We've got a little bit in the storeroom out here. For obvious security reasons, I won't take you in the storeroom, but you can see there's a little bit of the flooring still left over from Halfords there. And there's also a lift, like a goods lift that would obviously have gone up and down, taking all of probably bikes, let's face it, up and down the stairs. If there's anything else, the carpet will have been added in by Brighthouse, I would have thought, hence the gap in it. There's a bit of flooring there as well. And check that out. Oh, we're not going to be rich today, mate.
Never.
Bit more of the floor.
See the top of the original staircase?
So the bit I remember the most is obviously running up the stairs when I was a kid to go and have a look at the bikes and stuff. And the staircase was here. And it still is, but it's very different to how I remember it. And I think that James and I have probably worked out why. So if you look this way, you see here, you look here, you'll see there's the original stairs. Now, when I was a kid, this used to turn and go out that way, and it was all open. So there was like your banister was here, and you could look over the store as you came down, and you can see that's where the banister's actually been cut off here and here. And I think, James, you realise that some of the stairs were the original stairs were here, and you can see the difference in the stairs already. So this is the original staircase. Now I remember looking through when it was Brighthouse, and there was quite a big door there, and you'll see by that frame, it was quite a secure door. But we think that Brighthouse probably changed it so that they could get big things up the stairs easily without having to use lifts and things, because they would have had to navigate this corner. They boxed it all in. It wasn't boxed in when it was Halfords. They boxed it all in. They would have had to navigate this corner, boxed in. So they probably took the opportunity to straighten the staircase so they could bring things upstairs. The keen eye amongst you may have realised that I am carrying a skateboard, and it's a bit random. It's not that random. There's a reason why I brought it. This skateboard, and I mean this actual skateboard, was mine when I was a kid, and it came from this shop. And the reason why I'm standing on this staircase with it is because it actually came from this staircase. If you follow me, you'll see. This is the first time this skateboard came back to where it came from. So when this is Halfords, this was a bit of a display area. The staircase is really high, the ceiling's really high, and they used to display lots of things on the stairs. And this skateboard was one of them. It was originally orange. It wasn't. This has had a really hard life, as you can tell. Bear in mind, I got it mid-80s. And it was displayed either on this wall or on this wall. And I remember seeing it and saying, Mum, I want that skateboard. And the man from Halfords actually came down, took the skateboard off the wall and sold it to my mother. And I still have it. So I've brought the skateboard home back where it came from. So what we're going to do is we're going to stand it here for the remainder of our visit. There, it's back on the staircase. You'll also notice, how good is that? How fitting is that? There's some skateboards on the staircase.
Class.
Brilliant. So as I said, this is the original staircase. It's left over from Halfords / Brighthouse, and it's in really good condition. And the flooring that I remember from it being Halfords is actually still here. This is part of the retail area of the shop, so you can come up here and have a look around if you want to. This is where all the bedding and bags and things are. But you'll see the floor's original. The desk, I think the desk used to be around here, the retail part of it, where you used to speak to people and buy bits and bobs. I think it used to be there. And if you come this way, this here was the workshop space. This is where all the magic happened. So all the bikes and things came up. You can see the lift just in the back corner there. The bikes came up that lift and were put together and fabricated, and all the rest of it, all repairs and things were done in here. And this as a kid was where I wanted to be. I wanted to be working on the bikes when I was a kid. And I think you'll agree that it was quite a nice space to have this as a workshop. It's quite big, isn't it? And yet the only other thing really is the lights, the original lights. The walls are original. The sort of shiplap stuff on the walls has been changed. I spoke to the manager and he said that's all been replaced. So that's all been done. And I remember, I haven't brought it with me because I haven't got the original one anymore, but I did actually get a mountain bike from here as well that was around about here, I would say. And the reason I know that is because once I decided which bike I wanted, I visited every weekend to come and have a look at it. And it was sat around here. I do have one of those bikes, but it's not the actual one. That was back in the day. You used to sell a bike to get a new bike, so they weren't disposable like they are now. So I haven't got it anymore.
And of course, what brand was it? It
was a Rally, of course. So yeah, it's a fantastic space. I think it's a really good shop. It's nice to have, as I say, with the likes of B&M leaving and Wilkinson's and things. It's just one of those shops where you think I could do with something for the house, and they're pretty much guaranteed to get it here for a really good price. But yeah, if you haven't already visit, you're guaranteed to find something that you never knew you needed until you found it, because I always do.
Like you say, it's nice that there's things like inner tubes and bits and bobs for bikes, because
yeah, it is.
As a town now, we haven't got a bike shop. It's great to see people still supporting it.
It is.
Were the doors originally, and then up the top of the stairs?
Yeah, these doors, they're the same doors. I think it was all red when it was Halfords. I think these were red, and if you look, there's bits of red coming through.
Yeah, you can see this.
So I think
I think it'll be their sort of like reddy orange corporate colour.
I'm pretty much certain that these doors are the original doors. As I say, I'm sure the counter was like here or here. I'm sure it was around the door somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's where you went to fix your bikes. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember it all. I'm sure it was. But it's so good. It sounds daft because I spent so long on that staircase as well, going up and down, up and down.
Bikes and scooters.
They used to put scooters and skateboards and anything they could think of to catch your eye as you came up the stairs. You used to go on those walls. And if you think about the 80s, everything was so bright and vibrant, and fluorescent colours and stuff. So as soon as you walked into the staircase, it was bang. And even though ended up taking a career in cars and automotive and stuff, I was never really interested in the car bit. I just come flying through the door and straight up the stairs. Yeah,
but who's interested in batteries and bulbs? You're interested in things that move, aren't we?
Yeah, I suppose. So yeah, I was always straight up this staircase. So I was up this staircase pretty much from like being 8 or 9 or something like that, and all the way now. So I always thought it'd be so good to see what was upstairs when it was Brighthouse. But I never managed to get back up the stairs again. I thought, I wonder if the stairs are still there, and it turns out that they are. So that's great. So I've one more walk around the shop. I'm going to pick my skateboard up because I can't leave it there. I need to take it home.
You regret that?
I do like these lights.
They're smart.
I thought they were more of a Brighthouse type of installation because they're so fancy.
They're much smarter.
Yeah, I thought they were a Brighthouse thing. And that's great that those skateboards are still there. I think we're going to have to get one of those and take it home. Right, you're coming with me. What's happened here? I can't get out. It's just a force of habit that I automatically turned right. Check all the chockies out.
All right for you, fat lad.
Yeah, so when I said you have a look around the shop and see what they sell, why did you come straight to all the tools and nuts and bolts?
It's what we're about, mate. It's like you. Guarantee you'll be back in here next week and building something new.
Saying, I remember where to get them. But seriously, this is a really good selection of tools.
Yeah.
Talk about 80s.
Oh,
check out the 80s paint selection.
Might come in handy doing your board.
£1.50 for a can of it as well. That's cracking, that.
Like
I need yellow and pink for my scooter.
Even bike bits, tubes, puncture outfits, locks, reflectors, lights, you name it.
This was actually purpose built as a Halfords. There was an original building that looked like all the ones further along, like are the Victorian, the buildings?
Yeah, I think they're early sort of 1900s.
You can see those windows blocked out there that you could just as say see on the staircase where the skateboard was. My skateboard, that is. You can see it's very square, this. It's very different, the building, and even from the front it is. If you look at the Dovecot building just behind us, you can see, even though that's got a big square sort of 50s, 60s looking facade on it, you can still see the original building behind it with the peaked roof. Whereas the Halfords one, you can't. It's completely flat. If you pan back, you can actually see what remains of the original building that was next door. And you can see where Halfords have kind of chopped off the peaked roof to build their building. It's really strange. So there we are. That's my visit to the old Halfords store on Linthorpe Road done. Thank you so much for joining me. I really enjoyed that. I've been wanting to do it for so long, so it was great to finally get in there. Of course, thanks must go to the manager and the staff at the Middlesbrough discount store for making it all possible, and Hugh and me letting me in there. Thank you so much for that, guys. And thanks to my mate James for coming along and helping with the recording and bringing some equipment along. I really appreciate that. As always, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.